Are humans meant to be monogamous or are we polyamorous? I asked in an Instagram poll what people identified as, and 43% of people said they are monogamous, 30% said polyamorous, 15% said I want to be poly but I don't want my partner to be, and 12% said I don't know. It's a pretty tricky topic because there could be pros and cons for both relationship styles. On the one hand, people see monogamy and the really high divorce rates and cheating, and they think that monogamy is not really realistic, that we're a species that's meant to be with a lot of different people. On the other side, people can't really see how to be polyamorous and deal with jealousy and possessiveness. It can be very challenging. Some people get very triggered even by the idea of polyamory because they see it as a breakdown of our institutions and our commitment, and sometimes people could be entering into polyamorous relationships not necessarily from wanting to share love and be with many people, but from avoiding the intimacy and wanting to be very close to one person. There are pros and cons to both relationship styles. For monogamy, I feel that when you're just with one person, you're able to go really deep, really connect with them, and really create that intimacy and a bond that might not be possible in polyamory, where you're having multiple partners and the energy is sort of being balanced out with a lot of different people, and there isn't really that same stability. I think it's a lot easier to build trust and intimacy in monogamy, and I think that culturally it's a lot more accepted. It's easier to be monogamous than polyamorous in our society. It's more accepted by the people and doesn't face as much stigma. The problem I see a lot with monogamy is that it takes really deep commitment and maturity from both partners to be able to keep the relationship going and to have the compromise and commitment to make it work, as well as the maturity to allow each other the freedom to not feel suffocated. A lot of monogamous relationships fall apart because the human ego tends to want to control and be possessive and doesn't really give freedom to the other person, or begins to rely on the other person for our happiness. And so I really think that for a monogamous relationship to be successful, you have to be very spiritually evolved. It has to be two people who are very spiritually evolved and who have bigger aims than just being with someone romantically. It has to be something where you're committed to something greater, where it's not just looking for the other person to fill your void. A lot of people would argue that monogamy is not realistic because you see a lot of people cheating, and a lot of the time people get tired of being intimate with the same person and they want variety, or they just want to explore other things. And I think that stuff can be bypassed by having a deeper connection than just the physical. So I don't think most people are meant for monogamous relationships. I think it takes a certain level of personal evolution and commitment, which isn't super easy to find in our society, which is more kind of disposable. We sort of take people for granted and expect that there's other people out there, better people out there. I think polyamory could be a good solution for people who know that they're not able to be faithful in a relationship. To me, it's a much better alternative to a partner being deceitful or lying to their partner. It's much better to admit to themselves and to their partner that they want to explore other people. Nowadays, there's so many people who are open to polyamory that there's really no reason to be fake about it and lie and create bad karma for yourself. I don't think it's as glamorous and easy as it sounds. I've had a brief polyamorous experience where Unintentionally, I dated 2 guys at once who were friends, very short-lived, and I did feel that even though on the surface it seemed like it was cool, there was this like underlying jealousy and competition. And what I liked about it mostly was just the appeal to my ego and how it made me feel good to have 2 guys pursuing me and doting on me. Personally, I would prefer to be in a monogamous relationship with someone who I could have a really deep connection with, but I suppose I would be open to polyamory. One issue that arises with polyamory is that sometimes it can be a form of emotional escapism where a person might think that they really just want freedom and multiple partners when really it's an avoidance of wanting the deep intimacy and connection and accountability that comes with being in a monogamous relationship. Not to say all polyamorous relationships are people who are emotionally or intimacy avoidant, but there is sometimes that excuse that people use. I know that marriage as an institution is something that was more socio-political and served a purpose, but I do think monogamy itself was something that people chose, and we as a species, we do like to be with that one person and feel that we can be really connected and seen by that person. A lot of people still do believe in true love and in being with one partner, the person they're meant to be with for life. Whatever relationship style someone chooses, it's important to remember that whether you have one partner or many, they're not going to fill anything in you as a void or complete you or give you anything that you're meant to get from yourself. Most relationships break down because we expect our partner to fill us in some way that we're not able to fill ourselves. It's important, whichever you identify with, to respect other people's relationship styles, and I do think that polyamory is going to become more and more popular. So it's really just about openness and honesty and respect for people's life choices.